The personal ad it read, "Dress me up. I'm a SWM crossdresser seeking a woman for a long-term relationship. Most of my wardrobe is casual everyday dresses. I don't wear anything provocative. I'm shy, gentle, financially secure, and loyal. I'm 5 feet 4 inches, have a slim build, size 10, and don't smoke. Taller women are okay." Kevin Smith placed this ad on an internet dating site that had thousands of ads from around the country. He was a crossdresser. He loved women's vintage dresses and cardigans from the 1940s, 50s, and early 60s. He also liked to prance around like a young girl in frilly dresses decorated with ruffles. He got his makeup tips from a professional beautician. He let his bright red hair grow down to his shoulders. Kevin shaved his arms and legs regularly. He even underwent electrolysis to get rid of his facial hair. He had a rather boyish face. Kevin had no shortage of money. He had worked in computers and had managed to become a millionaire several times over before the dot-com bust of 2000. While he was no Bill Gates in terms of wealth, he had enough to retire early at the age of 30 and live a life of leisure. But Kevin was looking for that special woman with whom to spend the rest of his life. He knew that would be a challenge because not many women were turned on by a guy in touch with his feminine side. The ideal woman was someone who not only accepted him as he was but would also help him grow in his femininity. He knew that the personal ad was a long shot. But he decided there was nothing to lose by trying. And the ad ran for several weeks. Finally, one day, Kevin got a response by email. It read, "Your ad piqued my curiosity. My name is Stephanie. I'm originally from England but now live in New York City. I've been a nanny to a wealthy family and have helped raise 3 darling girls. However, they are entering their teens and will soon be going off to a private boarding school. I want to settle down and find a man for a long-term relationship. I'm 6 feet tall. I'm a size 12, measurement of 38-34-40. Write me if you're interested. My photo is attached." Kevin saw the photo. Beautiful was an understatement. Stephanie was a knockout. She looked like Kelly LeBrock, who had starred in those 1980s movies The Woman in Red and Weird Science. Kevin and Stephanie exchanged emails for several days. He explained his love of women's clothes. He said there was something in him that made him want to dress up. He couldn't explain it in psychological terms or as part of some event in his childhood. Stephanie described how her life as a nanny has given her a somewhat dominant personality. She said that this, along with her height, tended to make men uneasy and scare them away. She had met some crossdressers before and had noticed that they were not intimidated by her. Kevin finally got up the courage to ask if he could meet her. He didn't mind going to the Big Apple. She accepted his invitation. They meet in early September, the Friday after Labor Day. Kevin flew to New York. He got a room at a crossdresser-friendly hotel in Greenwich Village. That evening, he met Stephanie at a nearby restaurant. When Kevin saw her, he was entranced by her tall figure. "Stephanie?" Kevin asked. "Yes," she replied. Stephanie had a Julie Andrews-like English accent. "I'm Kevin. Nice to finally meet you," she said. "I don't mean to be too forward," Kevin commented, "but it's your height. You look so statuesque. From what you told me in your messages, other men were bothered by it. I'm certainly not. It makes you captivating." "Well, thank you," she blushed. "I see you decided not to come en femme tonight." "No. I was a bit shy about doing that on a first date, Kevin replied. He noticed, however, that he would not have been out of place in the restaurant. Several crossdressers were there. They got a table and ordered dinner. They talked for hours about their interests and their lives. Then they went for a walk in the late summer night. It was warm but not hot. By the end of the evening, they felt they could tell each other anything. Kevin rode the subway with Stephanie back to the large townhouse where she lived with her wealthy family. She invited him in, but he said he didn't want to do that on a first date. Stephanie didn't let him leave without giving him a long kiss. She left him breathless as she said goodnight. The next day, a beautiful Saturday morning, Stephanie met Kevin in the lobby of his hotel. Kevin, I know we just met, but would you mind dressing up for me today? Kevin hesitated for a moment, but decided it was okay. At least, he wouldn't be alone. Kevin asked Stephanie to wait in the lobby. 40 minutes later, he came down. He was wearing a short-sleeve, blue denim dress. His long, blonde hair was in a ponytail. He has some makeup, but it was barely noticeable. He didn't need much. Stephanie's mouth fell open. You look beautiful, she gasped. You almost make me jealous. Thank you, Kevin bashfully replied. It wouldn't be appropriate to call you Kevin. Can you think of a feminine name? When I'm in femme, my name is Cindy. That's a cute name. Cindy and Stephanie spent the morning walking and shopping. They looked at some of Lower Manhattan's vintage clothing stores. While Cindy turned a few eyes, it was because of her beauty. She was not very readable. That is, no one could really tell she was a man without a close, long examination. They relaxed in the afternoon on a Circle Line cruise around Manhattan. During this time, Stephanie was almost spellbound by Cindy. Cindy walked so gracefully in her dress. It reminded Stephanie of all those years she worked as a nanny and dressed up the girls she cared for. As Cindy tried on some dresses in the stores, Stephanie imagined dressing her up herself like she would a little sister. Or a daughter. Or a doll. That evening, Stephanie and Cindy went to another restaurant. Where would you two beautiful ladies wish to be seated? The waiter asked. Non-smoking, please, Stephanie said, and next to a window. Tying the knot, the dating continued for several weeks. Kevin always went out as Cindy. Occasionally, Stephanie would pick out a dress for Cindy to wear. A few times, they went on a shopping spree. Stephanie gave Cindy a light blue sailor dress with a big white collar and gold buttons as a gift. Cindy loved it. Kevin found Stephanie very captivating. He didn't have any very close relatives or friends with whom he felt comfortable sharing his feelings and lifestyle. Stephanie filled that void many times over. She was a mother or big sister figure that he longed to have. Kevin loved the ways Stephanie helped him with his feminine side. Finally, Kevin decided to propose to her. They went to the Greenwich Village restaurant where they had met. Kevin went as Cindy in a fine dinner dress. When Cindy popped the big question, Stephanie gleefully said, "Yes, my pretty doll." A nearby table heard the proposal and started clapping. Soon, the whole restaurant was applauding. The marriage ceremony, held on December 1st, was an informal event, with only the justice of the peace presiding. Kevin did not dress in femme. The following weekend, the newlyweds had a reception with some of their friends. Both Stephanie and Cindy wore bridal gowns. The honeymoon was at a crossdresser-friendly resort in the Poconos. Stephanie persuaded Kevin to move to New York. He had no problem with that since he had become attached to the big city and loved all the stores. They bought a townhouse in the village. Cindy the doll. Maybe it was the way Stephanie had enjoyed the 3 girls she raised as a nanny, the way she did their hair and dressed them up in the cutest outfits. Stephanie continued to be so enamored with Cindy's femininity that she finally decided she wanted a little girl, better yet, a doll instead of a man. A living doll. While raising the girls, Stephanie had used hidden, subliminal suggestions on CDs to help shape their behavior. The suggestions were embedded in some soft music played through hidden speakers to help lull them to sleep. They were designed to make the girls behave politely, watch their health, e.g. not to do drugs or smoke, and focus on their school studies. The results were very positive. The first step of Stephanie's grand plan was to do away with Kevin's male persona completely. Stephanie installed some hidden speakers in their bedroom and in the living room. She developed some soft music CDs with suggestions that were directed at Kevin. Kevin wants to be a woman. Kevin wants to be Cindy all the time. Cindy will always listen to Stephanie. Stephanie played the music while Kevin was in the living room reading and while the two slept. He didn't mind it. In fact, he found it soothing. Since the suggestions made specific references to Kevin and Cindy, they had no effect on Stephanie. The first effect, which started to occur after a few weeks, was that Kevin hardly ever wore his men's clothes anymore, even when he left the house. He dressed in femme all the time. Also, whenever Stephanie asked him to do something, he did it with no hesitation, like a young girl dutifully obeying her mother. Kevin decided to pursue sexual reassignment surgery. With Stephanie's consent, he started taking estrogen hormones. Before he began that, he put some of his sperms in storage for future use. As time went on, the subliminal suggestions had a lasting effect. Kevin's male persona emerged less and less. By the time he had his surgery, it had disappeared. He was Cindy full-time, not only to everyone else but in his own mind. Stephanie's next step was to tap into Cindy's submissive side and give her a doll-like personality. Stephanie started this through hypnosis. She had Cindy sit with her and look into her eyes. As she looked, Stephanie's blue irises began to sparkle and swirl, thanks to some hypnotic contact lenses she acquired. Like a whirlpool, they flowed into twin spirals. It was a fascinating sight, and Cindy couldn't look away. "Just watch me, dear," Stephanie said, "and relax." Cindy's face started to relax and soften, already entranced by the sight of her hypnotic gaze. Stephanie stroked her face gently, soothing and relaxing him. "What a good girl, what a sweet girl. Close your eyes now." They dropped like sandbags. Her head slumped forward and she knew nothing. "Very good, Cindy. You've made me very happy." She smiled in her slumber. "You want to be my little girl. You want to be my doll. I will make you feel happy and safe. You'll have no worries, no cares. Do you understand?" "Yes. It's time for you to get dressed, like a little doll." Stephanie had Cindy put on a cute red sailor dress with a large bow in the back. She wrapped her hair in ponytails. Stephanie tied a pink ribbon in Cindy's hair and had her put on some white dress shoes. Using makeup, she put some large pink circles on Cindy's cheeks to give her a doll face. She took her to a room they had decorated as a nursery that was full of toys and dolls. "You look so pretty now, Cindy. When I say, 'Be my pretty doll,' you will become a sweet doll. You will say, 'I am Cindy the dolly.' Will you play with me? And you will stand at attention, like a doll. You will be completely obedient to me. You will be unable to think and have no free will. You will only be able to move if I tell you to. I will dress you and pose you. Now, at the count of 3, you will wake up. 1, 2, 3. Cindy woke up. Stephanie asked her to look at herself in the mirror. Oh my gosh! Cindy gasped. This outfit is so cute. I love it. Be my pretty doll, Stephanie said. At that moment, Cindy stood at attention, and her eyes glazed over. I am Cindy the dolly. Will you play with me? Cindy said in the soft voice of a 5-year-old girl. Stephanie had Cindy lie on a bed and gave her a sedative to remove any remaining mental resistance. She put some headphones on her and started a CD filled with hypnotic suggestions to rewrite Cindy's mind. I am Stephanie. I am making you into my work of art. It is hard for you to think about anything. The few thoughts that drift loosely around your hollow pretty head are about how pretty you are. Your mind is full of cotton. You are becoming a doll. You need me to hold you and pose you and dress you up now, because you are a dolly now, and that is what people do when they play with dollies. You need me to hold you and pose you and dress you up now, because you are a dolly now, and that is what people do when they play with dollies. You need me to do something with you, to play with you, to do anything to you, anything at all. And you are but a toy now, an object. You are a beautiful thing, but a thing nonetheless. You will repeat in your mind, over and over again, Cindy is a dolly now. Cindy needs Stephanie to hold her and pose her and dress her up and play with her forever and ever and ever. Cindy is a dolly now. Cindy needs Stephanie to hold her and pose her and dress her up and play with her forever and ever and ever. You will think it over and over and over. Because the more you think it, the truer it becomes. Because when you think it, you believe it with all your heart and soul. Cindy is a dolly now. Cindy needs Stephanie to hold her and pose her and dress her up and play with her forever and ever and ever. You are limb, locked in place in both body and mind. You are frozen in such perfect bliss that you totally forget how to move or think altogether. You can't think anymore. You really are a dolly now. You feel like a cute little puppet and can't move without me telling you to. Your mind is so empty. Your mind is so empty. You have no free will to resist anything anymore. You are my living doll now. You now need to be told what to do. You now need to be told what to say. You now need to be told what to think. You will do as you are told, and believe in anything you are told. You will have no free will at all to resist doing what you are told to do, and you will eagerly and helplessly do whatever you are told to do, and believe what you are told to believe. You have truly become my dolly, living totally and completely for my voice and firm, reassuring touch. I make you come to life. I make you whole, complete and real. I make you, period. You have truly become my dolly, living totally and completely for my voice and firm, reassuring touch. I make you come to life. I make you whole, complete and real. I make you, period. You love being the dolly so much, you will forget everything about the person you were. You have become all dolly, all the time. The CD continued playing until bedtime. Stephanie reinforced the hypnosis with short subliminal suggestions at night. Cindy is a dolly. Cindy needs Stephanie to dress her, to pose her and to think for her. Cindy loves being a dolly. Deep underneath all this, even if Cindy could resist, she didn't want to. Stephanie repeated this for about 3 months. At first, the doll persona would disappear when Cindy woke up in the morning. The only thing she would remember was that she had a blissful sleep. After Cindy had bathed, freshened up and had a light breakfast, Stephanie would say, "Be my pretty doll." Once Cindy fell into a trance state, Stephanie put the headphones on her and played the CD with the doll persona suggestions for several hours each day. Cindy would remain in her doll persona for the rest of the day, with Stephanie playing with her and dressing her in the cutest girly dresses. When Stephanie wasn't with her, Cindy sat motionless like a doll on the bed in the nursery room. Stephanie planted a small vibrator in Cindy's vagina. This gave Cindy a feeling of ecstasy in her doll state. In time, being a doll was all that Cindy knew. When she woke up every morning, she said, "I am Cindy the dolly. Will you play with me?" Stephanie eventually decided to have some children. She used the sperm Kevin had set aside, and had 2 pretty twin girls. Stephanie was able to get Cindy, even in her mindless doll state, to do simple tasks like sing to the girls and rock them to sleep. As the girls grew up, they also played with Cindy. Stephanie never dated again. With Kevin's wealth, she lived a life of leisure with no need to work. Her life was complete and happy with her 2 girls and her living doll.